By the end of this video, you will know how to film 30 days worth of high quality content in just 1 hour, even if you're filming alone, just using your phone, or you have minimal experience. My name is Dan Henry. I've made $35 million with my online business, and I love making videos on how you can have success as well. So I normally film 1 hour for 30 days worth of Instagram content. YouTube's a bit different. I'll make a separate video on that, but let me go ahead and show you my setup. Now, you will notice that I just pressed a button and stood up. Why did I do that? It's because for me, I've realized one important principle that makes this whole system work is that the less moving parts, the better. The simpler, the better. Most people, well, actually all people, just do not care about little things like how fancy your edits or your texts are or this high production content. They care more about what you say. My best performing content sometimes is filmed real quick on a phone when I have an idea, or it's just a simple edit. It's not this high quality, scripted, high production content. And in fact, most of that content actually bombs. So I try to stick to what actually matters, okay? So you'll notice I have a camera here, and see, I'm not even gonna edit this. Like, my whiteboard went on, I don't care. Like, you guys are still watching. So what I do is I sit down and I have a switcher, which is an ATEM Mini Pro. And now I'm talking to the main camera, right? And now I got this camera. Now this is more for YouTube videos. This system I'm about to show you is for Instagram. But the point is that I try to make as little steps as possible. So for a YouTube video, I'm not gonna sit there and edit it. I'm just gonna switch it live and upload it. And if I have to make one little edit to the intro, whatever, okay? But Instagram's a different beast. So here's the system. We start with a script. Now, I do not believe in cutting up content. That means doing podcasts and YouTube videos and just slicing it up. That has not performed well for me. And it does not perform well for most people, and let me tell you why. If you are someone like Alex Hormozi or Tony Robbins, you have this natural ability to just spit hooks and spit fire every 5 seconds. So when you hand a 1 or 2 hour podcast over to a bunch of VA, virtual assistant editors, well, then it's very easy for them to find these clips. But for most of us, we don't just spit hooks that go viral off the top of our heads. We have to sit down and think about them. And so I tested content for 2 years. I tracked every single reel, every view, every comment, the amount of follows I got, the amount of leads I got, all in one big Airtable. And I found that the content that did the best, I scripted. I just thought about it and did it, not the content that was pulled out of podcasts. So that's a very low percentage chance that that's gonna go viral because you are relying on what's most likely either a very expensive editor from a Western country that's gonna be like 5 to 10 grand a month who may do a good job, or a $500 to $1,000 a month editor from like the Philippines or something who is definitely not gonna do a good job because they're not copywriters. They don't know what hooks to pull out. They just know how to edit, okay? So how do we solve that? We script. And what I generally will do is the best reels are only 10 to 20 seconds. They're not long, so it's very easy to script a reel. I start with a hook, I teach some sort of lesson or tell some sort of story with a point, and then I end with a principle or a call to action to comment a word. Now, I'll make a separate video on how I actually use this to get sales, but right now we're just gonna focus on how to record a lot of content in 1 hour. So I scripted in a Google Doc, or honestly, I just use the notes in my phone. And then it comes to filming. And so with filming, what I do is I take a DSLR camera. You can use your phone as well, it's no big deal. I actually like the camera better, not necessarily because of the quality, but it's a pain in the butt to record with a phone and then upload it for somebody to edit and this and that. It's just like you gotta airdrop it to your Mac, it's a pain in the ass. So if I have an idea and I know that I can post it and edit it from my phone quickly, I'll definitely do it with my phone. But if I'm batch recording, I like to do it with a camera. And so what I'll do is I'll take my sheet of paper of all my scripts, I'll lay it down in front of me. and I'll take the camera and I'll put it vertical like this, not horizontal, vertical. Why? Because we want as little steps as possible. We want as little opportunity as possible for our $500 to $1,000 a month video editors from the Philippines or wherever to mess it up. So instead of doing this and making them edit it and have the right placement, I do this and I know the placement, okay? And so I will hook it up. I'll sit there. Now, here's what's very important. I will record it in 4K. Why 4K? Aha! Because you are able to mimic 2 camera angles with just 1 camera. So a lot of people, when they film reels and they want it to look professional, they want 2 camera angles. Well, when you do 2 camera angles, you massively complicate the amount of steps and the process to get these reels recorded. You introduce more opportunities for points of failure. So what I'll do is I'll record it in 4K, kind of wide. When I send it to my editors, I'll say, listen, every time you want to zoom in or zoom out, put the canvas inside of Adobe Premiere to 1080. You put the 4K file in. Now you can zoom in and zoom out at full fidelity, full quality, and it actually looks like you had 2 camera angles and you only had 1. So you're reducing the amount of steps. Now, here's a little trick to make it seem extremely fluid, like you never messed up. So I'll look at the script, as I said before I got sidetracked. I'll look at it like this. I'll look at the hook, I'll look up, I'll film the hook. Pause, I'll look down. I'll see the next sentence or next part, memorize it real quick. Ba 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 ba. Look down, look at the CTA, memorize it real quick, look up, ba 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 ba. So now, the editor can simply start at a wide shot when I say the hook, and then when I stop and pause or mess up and start again, they just cut that out, and then that next section that they cut, they zoom in. And I say the next thing. And then when I pause, they cut it and they zoom out. And so what ends up happening is, it looks like multiple camera angles, in and out, zoomed in, zoomed out, and it seems like what I said was so fluid, I didn't mess up, I kept talking, but in reality, I just said 1 sentence at a time, and they punched in and punched out. So that's how I film, okay? So then, once I film, I will have my wife stand there and just go boop, boop, boop. So I do 1 reel, she hits record, I finish the reel, she hits stop. Then she films again, boop, and hits stop. If you're doing this by yourself, here's what I recommend you do. Sometimes she's out, I don't have her around, so I'll go like this. So I'll do a reel, I'll look up at the camera, and I'll go like this. This is a signal to the editor that that is the end of that reel, so they don't get mixed up. And then when I go like this, they know, okay, whatever's after this point, now we're editing a new reel. I say my stuff, I go like this on camera, they see it, oh, okay, now I'm editing a new reel. So if you want to film it all in 1 video file, you can do that as well. So then what I do is I will upload this to a Google Drive. Now from here, the VAs, virtual assistant editors, at, again, $500 to $1,000 a month, you can totally get decent editors for this easily at $500 a month, and they will go in and they will edit them. Now, if you leave an editor to edit a podcast, the chances of them picking out the right hooks and removing the right words and this and that, I spent 2 years, 2 long years trying to convince, persuade, or train a foreign editor who does not speak English as a native language what a hook is, how to stop leaving in repetitive sentences, ums and ahs, and they just never got it. And look, if you are blessed with the ability to take someone who is earning $500 to $1,000 a month and who doesn't speak English and get them to understand this, then more power to you, my brother. You are a better man than me, but I couldn't do it. So I realized I needed to fix it from the source. So when you script the reels, all you're doing is saying something, pausing, saying something. And if you say something and you mess up, you pause and you say it again. Any moron can edit that and zoom in, zoom out. Anybody, okay? So now they edit it. Now I used to believe, because a lot of people say this, that you should edit it without captions, upload it to Instagram, then let Instagram do the captions. And if you do that, because you have done the captions inside of Instagram, Instagram gives you more reach. I tried doing that. Here's two things I found. Number one, it didn't matter. I had reels that I uploaded with captions that were done inside of a video editor, and they performed just fine, millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views. It really didn't matter. And I had plenty that, I mean, I've like literally posted the same reel twice with different captions. It just doesn't matter. I don't know who said that. It just doesn't matter. The second thing is it introduces more points of failure. So that means the person uploading it could potentially screw up the captions in the Instagram editor and not fix it. And there's no chance to renew, because right after they do the captions, well, now they're posting it. So I was like, okay, we got to remove this point of failure. So what I did was I said, okay, go ahead and put your captions inside of Adobe Premiere or CapCut or whatever you're using. So now the VA then takes that, puts it in a Google Drive, and will put it into Airtable. Now, Airtable is like a fancy schmancy Google Sheets or Excel document. And when they put it into Airtable, they load it in and they say, okay, here's the reel, here's a link to the Google Drive with the edited reel, and then I can simply go in once a week or even once a day for 5 minutes and watch the reel, which is 15, 20 seconds, approve it or ask for changes. And generally, I don't have to ask for any changes because I've made this process so damn simple that any moron can do it. So unless they have a blatant typo, there's not much to change. And sometimes there is a typo. And so you can review this, or you can, if you have some sort of marketing manager or assistant, they can review it. And all they got to do is watch the damn reel and say to themselves, is there a typo? And if there's not, approve, okay? Is there a bad edit? Is the sound cut out? Did something happen? 90% of the time when you keep things simple, it'll be fine. So when you click approve, and you can structure an Airtable to do this, you click approve and now boom, it moves on. So now it can notify another VA, or if you want the same VA, to post it. So now they take the reel, they upload it to Instagram, and they post it. And you can give them a time schedule to do it. I don't recommend doing automated, like these tools that automatically post for you. I have tested that, and that does limit your reach. At least the last time I tested it, that will affect your reach. You want to upload it right from a phone. So if that means you have to give your VA a login, like I do, to your Instagram account, well, that's what you got to do, okay? It's worth it. Now, one thing you might be asking is, well, what about the description? So here's what I do to keep things simple. If there's a call to action at the end of the Instagram reel, like, hey, comment this word to get this document, well, I just say, hey, whatever I said at the end, put that in the description. Comment this word to get the Google Doc on whatever, or comment this word to get this free thing, or comment this word if you want to be a part of this case study, whatever. So that's easy. Now, if I don't say a call to action, and it's more of like a growth reel where I'm just giving value, I'm not asking for a lead or any sort of action, then I'll just say, hey, whatever the first sentence is, the hook, make that the description. And again, when I check it, I can just edit it if I want to, hit approve, and now the VA will post according to what I edited. So now the VA posts. Now, one thing I did not put in here, it's a rule, and I'm going to show you the rule. And it's called check your freaking work, okay? And what that means is once you post it, log into another Instagram account, go watch it, make sure that the sound didn't get funky or some weird stuff that Instagram happened or the captions are not showing, because that happens. Double check it. Then if there's a CTA and you have some sort of word that you want the viewer to comment so that when they comment it sends like a mini chat bot out or whatever, well, now you comment the word, you double check that the automation actually went through, you friggin' make sure that if there was a link sent, you click on the damn link, and you make sure that it's not 404 error, you make sure that the link is live, you make sure everything's okay, you actually check your work. Because I cannot count the amount of times I've done this, or I've seen a client do this, and I'm guilty of it too. You don't check your work, A day passes, and then you find out, oh my gosh, the automation doesn't work. And now you have to ask your VA to manually message 600 people that commented the link to whatever that you promised, and it's a friggin' nightmare. So just check your damn work. Okay, so now, what happens now is once it's posted every week, you have the VAs, and I believe there's some sort of automation that can do this. My VA actually told me about it, and I guess I can make a video on it if it works, but currently we just have a VA manually input the views, likes, shares, leads, all that from these posts into an Airtable tracker. And again, I have been told that there is an automated way to do this. I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm gonna look into it, and if it works, I'll make a video on that. So, what I do now is I track these based on their metrics. And I assign them bronze for the worst performing ones, silver for ones that perform a bit better, gold for ones that perform better, platinum for really good ones, and diamonds for ones that get like over 1 million views, okay? And I also, inside of here, will use a column where I'll look at the amount of views and the amount of follows. And then I'll do a division, and so I'll figure out the follower conversion rate. Because sometimes you can have a reel that gets 1 million views, but you get like this many followers, and then you have a reel that gets like 50,000 views, but you get this many followers. And this is all part of understanding what the right content is, not just getting views. And so when you're able to track this, every month you can look at it, and this is what I do. I look at it and I go, okay, what type of content is performing best? And not just performing best in terms of views, but performing best in terms of leads and views to follower conversion rate. So that I know not just what gets views, but what actually attracts the ideal audience. And then from there, I review these and I go, okay, what content do I need to make more of? What's working that I can repeat? And what do I need to do less of that isn't working? What do I need to stop doing? Like for instance, I found that when I would travel, I would make these random videos as if I was a normal person on Instagram. I was some sort of dummy doing this, but I would just be like, oh look at this interesting thing. And it would get millions of views, but I would get like no followers because when they looked at my account, they were like, this is a business guy, I don't give a crap, you know? So I stopped doing that type of content. Now, if I did it for nurture content to show the audience that I do cool stuff or whatever, okay, that's one thing, but that's kind of more stories. But I digress. The point is you can figure out what to do more of and what to do less of. And then the system works together because then when you go to script again, you now know based on this what to do. And every time you go through this cycle, your content gets better and better and better. And you'll notice that when I made this post a few weeks ago where I said I fired 90% of my team and I started all over and I rebuilt everything up. Well, when I did that, I implemented and tweaked this process, and we were already doing this, but we weren't doing it as simple as I created it here. And so now things get done very fast. I only film for 1 hour and I can film tons of content because, again, this is like a 10-second reel. The best reels do 10 to 15 seconds. So imagine in 1 hour how many reels you can film that are 10 to 15 seconds each. And you have the script in front of you, so you're just blah, 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 blah. And look, even if you film 2 weeks of content in 1 hour, or if it took you 2 hours to film 30 days of content, whatever, when you plug it into this system, you're able to do so much with so little time, so much output for so little time. Now, every single one of these reels is either growing my audience, nurturing my audience, or getting a lead. You will notice that the amount of views has gone up drastically on my Instagram. You will notice the amount of comments has gone up drastically. And the main point here is I stopped doing podcast content and I got rid of that and I put this into the system, simplified the system, and now I'm able to produce at a high level, get leads, get views. My Instagram is blowing up right now. It's at 260,000 followers. And so if you're interested to learn more stuff like this, work with my team to help create you or grow you a very simple digital business that has incredibly high profit margins. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can see what it's like to work with us. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.